A regular Wednesday night in downtown St. John's. Well, it's still not night. Oh, it's the evening. This is the third one. As I was leaving a local coffee shop, Tim Hortons. Shameless plug. Maybe I get a free coffee from them in the future. I decided to turn on the camera, make a, video entry. Two police cars just drove down the street, and that was the third one. Tonight, or this evening, I guess I want to say, I'm going to be in this beautiful place called The Rooms, which is a place I helped not build, but I was one of the first people that actually started to dig here. It was an archaeological site on my YouTube channel. There's a video titled Bosnian Archaeologists or something like that. I should start posting links down in the comments or descriptions below so people can do that. Maybe I'll start doing that rather than going through like 300 or 400 videos. That's the fourth car to find the video that I'm referring to. I love coming here because there's these two beautiful benches right here in this beautiful field overlooking the rooms, and look at all the beautiful yellow flowers ripe for picking for our local bees, along with the view of one of the most historical churches in St. John's and in Canada, called Basilica. I remember my son Mesha saying it's a pretty little city. It is a beautiful place for sure. We're definitely blessed to live here. There's like I said, there's a church, Basilica. Right next to it is a private kind of Christian elementary school. There's condominiums in the back. The police station is right here. Shopping center is just behind us. One day I will do a video about all these objects and how they influenced my life and our lives. Religion, politics, economy, they are all a part of one larger system that keeps us going the way we should be going. It's like the sheep, that we are. If we were left to our own devices, God knows what would happen to us. Or like the cows, cows have no control over how much they eat. Now, are we sheep? Are we cows? I don't know. Do we really need to be controlled this much? Perhaps. I think the biggest problem is that we as humanity, we have not explored all the tools given to us. Whether that's telekinesis or telepathy or all these other things that our ancient ancestors had an access to, we don't have. The secret occult knowledge of humanity that we possess, our instincts have been kind of dulled, in a way that we have to, kind of be a certain way in order to live within this society. If all of us were super powerful human beings who could astrally project and do all these other things, it would be very difficult to control us. So I think in the end, this control is kind of for our own good. and it's okay to be controlled, but the problem is who is controlling the controllers. I think that humanity has abused, you know, these tools, these skills that we as humans possess in order to control and dominate and, you know, subject others to our own will. As you can see that throughout the history, some people have been oppressed, others have not. For example, a very little known fact is that, you know, slavery has been used in order for some to profit, right? And that all of our groups have been kept in slavery at some point. We even had white Caucasian slaves, that those were the Slavs, a group that I kind of belong to, at least 17%. I mean, what is it, like I'm 17% Slav, 12% German, or like 12% Turkish, 4% Mongolian, 7% Celt. I mean, we're all mixed up, of course. The Celts were also used as slaves. I mean, what is slavery? Are we today slaves as well? Look at the way the economy is working and things are happening to us. I mean, what is it? Mortgage in French translates as death contract. You buy your own prison and you maintain it for 35 years, and then you die, and then somebody else buys it and just changes the colors of the walls, and it's a new house for another 35 years. Nothing changes really for the people who stay in the power. Is the people, and those are the people that have an access, first of all, to resources and to some other secret, occult knowledge that I really don't want to get into right now, because that's not the subject of this video, as I myself don't know all about it, you know, because just like you, just like 99% of our populations, we have been kept in the dark, you know. I strongly believe that everything that we have been told, everything that we have been learned is completely a lie, an illusion, or some variant or some version of it. For example, everybody knows that Germany won the Second World War. You know, we were taught that, you know, they lost the war and But as soon as the war was over, all of our, you know, European countries went to Germany to build them up, to invest, and to these days we have like the most profitable companies are coming out of Germany, and those are all the Siemens company that create all the machine tools, all the car companies, that's Volkswagen, that's Audi, that's BMW, the Bosch or whatever. Then all our Hugo Boss, the clothing companies, the Chanel, Dior, whatever, all the perfume companies and everything else. So really, if you look at it, who won the war? And you know, what does it mean to win a war? Just like an illusion that this is Germany, or this is France, or this is Poland, or this is Prussia, or this is Russia. We are all Caucasians coming from Caucasus Mountains in Russia. So all the divisions that have happened over the past thousands of years are completely false. I mean, there is really no difference between a French or a German citizen, or an American and a Canadian citizen, or a Bosnian or a Serbian, or a Ukrainian or Russian. I mean, seriously. Like I said, over the years, we have evolved into different people because we speak differently, we have different cultural norms. You know, when I was in kindergarten and there was these two kids, and one kid was given bacon, the other kid was not given bacon, and the teacher told him, oh, you can eat bacon but you can't. I was asking myself, what do you mean? I don't see the difference between these two kids. Like, why is this kid allowed to eat bacon and this kid isn't? It's because of their religious beliefs. Like I said, like Shakespeare said, all the, you know, world is a stage and all the roles have already been assigned, you know, so you really can't move. This is why, you know, it was shunned upon for nobility to marry a peasantry. for the rich to mix with poor, because that's basically eugenics in nutshell. This is what the Nazi Germany tried to implement with the superior human race, which is totally makes sense, because we are trying to create perfect humans that can push us into the future, and this is what we are doing again here now through different means and forms. It's just the fact that there has never been transparency in our society. Raya, this is a Turkish expression for folks, for poor people, were never told the reality of the situation, because they just, why bother them? They're busy enough. They're slaves. They are working 9 to 5, producing things. I mean, the guy who makes 600 croissants a day, he really doesn't care about anything but just getting home to rest and enjoying himself, and that's the way it is. That's what it's all about, right? And so much more. Today I went for a walk during my lunch break, and I talked about one example, and that was the example of Korean infrastructure. As I was walking through that neighborhood, there was a big lineup of cars. There was like 20 or 30 cars waiting to cross the light because of the construction on the road. But I mean, I was telling the viewers that I was referring to or speaking to in my own language, or whatever that language is. Like, again, these whole things are just, Babylon, Babel, all these different languages. It's all the same language. You have so many words that cross the boundaries. For example, hamburger, it's everywhere in the same language. Sex, every language is exactly the same. In Ukrainian, in Russian, in Bosnian, in Serbian, in Swahili. When Korean War finished in 1953, it went on for 3 years. So North Koreans were let into South Korea, and they destroyed the entire country. I mean, there was 20 million of North Koreans and 50 million South Koreans. The numbers are different now, or actually these are the numbers now, but back in the day they were much smaller. Nevertheless, there was much, there was much less of North Koreans than there were South Koreans. However, they conquered the entire country. They just went boom, except for one city where the Korean government was held, and they stayed in that city. So the North Koreans were told, don't go into that city, take everything else. They went in, destroyed everything. The whole infrastructure was destroyed. So it took them 3 years, and then after, when everything was done, then we came in, Canadians came in, Americans, they came in to save the South Koreans, and North Koreans were pushed back to North Korea. Again, there is no South Korea and North Korea. These are just concepts of whatever, allied forces or United Nations, just like there's no Israel or Palestine. North Sudan, South Sudan. These borders are so artificial. We're talking about the same people. They're all Han people who speak the same language, who were completely divided into half, because of the politics. So when they were divided into half, they pushed North Koreans back up, and they told South Koreans, and now we're going to rebuild you. Just like they are going to rebuild Ukraine now after the war, because the big companies that are going to go in have already signed the contract. They're just waiting for the war to finish until, enough destruction is performed so they can go in and start their own progress of building a new way, new infrastructure for the Internet of all things to become a thing, so we can be one with our microwave. I'm jumping a lot of different steps along the way. Those of you who can follow me, sure. Those of you that you cannot, you have to watch my 400 other videos in order to understand what I'm talking about. So in 1953, the Korean president was told, you're going to rebuild a highway. And he was given money, and he said, okay, we're going to build an 8-lane highway throughout the country. So the country that was completely destroyed, that had no ox carts, there was no horses to pull a cart, let alone cars. The only cars there were just American Jeeps, you know, that came with the American soldiers, and some other random vehicles left. And then, you know, people were asking themselves, oh my God, what the hell is he talking about? Let's build just like a simple road so we can, you know, no, we're gonna build a highway, don't you worry about it. So he took the money, you know, borrowed money from IMF, which later caused a huge crisis in Korean government in 1987, where Korean citizens went in and gave their golden teeth and necklaces and wedding rings to the government in order for them to pay off the loan to IMF so the Korean government doesn't go bankrupt. I don't think anybody else did that ever again. Imagine if your Canadian government says, okay, we owe so much money to America, I want all of your gold and everything to give to me willingly so we can pay off that loan. All Koreans did it. Unbelievable, man. Again, different story, different culture, the collectivism, individualism, which is right, which is wrong. Same coin, different sides. So the highway was built, 8 lanes of highway. He knew fully well that they were going to invest later on into the electronics, later on into the, you know, car company. A legend of Hyundai company, and a story that I was told. I spent about 10 years working for Hyundai company as a cultural consultant. So one of their most famous vehicles was Sonata, or in Korean they call it Socha, or a cow car, because cow is pronounced as so. So a joke is, how are you? I'm so. I'm cow. So cha, or cha means car. So car, Sonata, was the first car created by Hyundai company, one of the first cars, because apparently this is how Hyundai company started. One of their owners, and this is a privately owned company owned by a family, stole a cow from his father and went and sold the cow on the market and took the money and invested into like buying some garments, and later on started a garment company, a clothing company, and from that clothing company he moved on to open a car company. So I mean, if you believe in fairy tales such as, you know, Santa Claus, Tooth Fairy, you know, and other variety stories, and I do, I believe in all of them, then you can believe it that in this, that one man started the Hyundai company by selling a car, selling a cow he stole from his father. In reality, he had a multi-million-dollar deal given to him by International Monetary Fund in order to start that, and then later on, like I said, Korea became what it is today, where even 8 lines of traffic or lanes of traffic is not enough. Some places have 10, there's extra, and I was telling them a story about being stuck in traffic. I'm not going to get into that story, that's in a different video, in a different language, but the analogy is there, the understanding that some of us know more than others, and the point is that we're on a need-to-know basis. Like one of the famous comedians said, it's a big club and you're not a part of it. I'm going to the rooms tonight. I'm going to enjoy some poetry. My friend has written a book of poetry, and I'm proud of her, so I'm going to go and support her and her endeavors. She's a mother of 4, she has a husband, she has a job and everything, and was able to do that, you know, to share some of herself with the world. And I think that's our duty, to kind of speak about everything that's happening around us to us, because we're leaving little crumbs, little pieces of information to others so they can maybe decipher the bigger message that is behind all of this. After that, I'm going to go to a local pub, neighborhood pub, to do some comedy. So I will post, hopefully, that short video later. I think I have about 5 to 7 minutes, longer than my last sex episode. So it should be fun. Thank you so much for being a part of my journey. I hope you get something from all this. I know I do, because sharing is caring, and I'm just like that volcano. I've seen way too much in order just to keep it in myself and to myself. Together we can decipher more. Love you, and see you at the rooms.